I think from game to game, it presents opportunity for a number of different guys who could be in double figures that day. What lineup is clicking at any particular time. Last couple of years we were pretty set with our top 7 or 8 guys, and that could change from game to game. I do think there's a couple that stand out that we certainly hope are at or near the top pretty much all the time, but it's nice to be able to know that you have some other guys that are ready to step up when you need them. I think tremendous amount. In some ways, you could probably say that about everybody. If they're making threes, it sets up your drive. It creates more space for other players because they're going to be chasing you more rather than be in the gap. He's a good three-point shooter. He was never a volume three-point shooter. He was always a scorer. Even in high school, when he averaged a bunch of points, he made some threes, but he was back cutting and getting out in the break and shooting pull-ups and leaners and floaters, and he has a knack for being able to make those kinds of shots. But he's really worked on it, Pat. I mean, his three-point shot this summer, he shot about 1,000 every day, and that's, I think, going to make a big difference for him.
Seems to have a real joy for the game.
With the roster that we have, we've got a lot of options. And I said this to you guys before, I don't know that I've ever had this many. I think we're settling into, what we think is going to look like a normal rotation. But you get into January and, you're dealing with, does anybody get injured? Is anybody in foul trouble? Can you absorb that over the long haul in this league? It's so physical. It's so grueling. You need all your weapons. And so it is going to be, somewhat different when you look at, what we've had the last 3 years, with Cook and Garza, Bohannon, those guys, Joe Wieskamp. I mean, those guys were big minutes guys, going to be on the floor at the end of the game. You put Connor in there. Of course, we had Isaiah Moss and some other guys, but those guys are going to be on the floor at the end of the game. I trust a lot of these guys. It's not like I'm looking and saying, okay, I trust this group. Those guys can get some minutes, but I don't know that I would trust them at crunch time. I don't think that's the case. So I think, over the course of November and December, we'll see, where things end up.
It seems like your stamina is a lot better now too, maybe than it was in the past.
Yeah, I feel like my first 2 years I kind of would run around out there with a chicken with my head cut off, just trying to make an impact, just playing super hard with a crazy amount of energy. And so I feel like now I've realized okay, if I'm gonna play a lot of minutes, I can't I need to obviously still play incredibly hard, but be more efficient with how I use that and kind of be able to figure out more things and just kind of find out ways to help our team. So so I'm just I'm much more comfortable, and that was also me playing really hard was kind of a way to counteract the fact that I wasn't comfortable. Now I've kind of calmed down. I've seen it all now at this point. So I'm just excited to keep going. I feel good.
Seems that there's maybe 5, 6 different players on this team that could lead you guys in scoring on any given night. How beneficial is that?
Very. We got a lot of guys that can do a lot of stuff with the ball. We got a lot of really talented players, especially coming off the bench too. We got a lot of guys that can make an impact. So obviously that's good, knowing that if, let's say, somebody doesn't have their best night, then somebody else can kind of step up and cut that guy some slack, and just kind of really help keep them moving in that direction, and just provide a spark. We know we have a lot of bench guys that can come in and do a lot of different things. So they could provide a spark on any given night, any single one of them. So there's a lot of different stuff that we can do with that, and a lot of directions we can go.
Excitement.
Yeah, no, just the expectations and excitement going into the game tomorrow has been what we've been working for throughout the whole off season. Last year playing without fans really is different from what I was used to, just from in high school and in prep school. But obviously, we have a great fan base, and I'm ready to see you guys on Tuesday. So.
You know, last year you guys were ranked 5th in the AP preseason. Now I saw Athlons Magazine had you 10th in the Big Ten. How much do you guys care about that? Is it motivation at all?
No, we're just trying to keep it going one game at a time. Our goal every game is to win that game, and that's just what we're going to do. Last year, obviously, we had higher expectations than we do this year. So I just think this year, if we just keep our mindset one game at a time, I think we'll be fine.
You guys have really kind of changed your defensive style this year, defensively any other way.
Yeah, our biggest thing is just getting easy baskets, and if we don't let the defense set their defense, I think that's good for us. Our motion game's coming along. It's been good so far, and I just think keeping our defensive pressure up throughout the game, forcing them turnovers and the easy baskets, I think is huge for us going on throughout the season.
Patrick seems like he's really kind of taken a step up from the past. As somebody who played against him in high school and have known him for a while, have you kind of seen that too, that he's kind of stepped up his game there?
Yeah, he's always been a great player. I played against him in high school a couple years, and I've known him for a while, and I played against him in AU, and he's always been a great player. He's been behind a couple guys the last couple years, but in practice he's really shown growth in his scoring ability, and on defense he's able to affect a lot of players. So I just think if he keeps that confident mindset throughout the season, he'll have a great year.